Hi everyone, my name is John Cottrell of MBODY Yoga, and this is a soft flow practice and also called a gentle flow practice. So what that means is that we're going to be taking our time as we move through this course together. So there's no need to rush or go fast or move quickly, but really just take our time. So that's our intention for our practice when we come together to do soft flow. So you want to have a few prompts for this class. Something very specific that we'll need is a strap or something that resembles a strap. That could be a belt, anything like that. So grab one of these if you have something like that, have that nearby. But also something soft to sit on, like a blanket or a pillow, maybe a couple of yoga blocks. And if you don't have blocks, just maybe a couple of stacked books. That's always nice. And then maybe another big pillow that you can use. This is a yoga bolster. You can use a cushion from a sofa, even just some rolled up blankets. This is just very nice to use at your conclusion of your practice in Shavasana. So we're going to start like we always do in our soft flow practice, coming to seated. You might want to sit on your cushion or folded blanket, just something soft to sit on. And as you find your way into comfort and ease, you can sit with your legs crossed, you can extend your legs, you can even sit up against a wall or in a chair. And so as we settle in and prepare for our practice, I'll let you know what we'll be intending for our practice today. So you might close your eyes or just soften your eyes. Maybe take a few deep breaths. And these deep breaths are just ways to bring yourself to this moment as you fully connect, and now that you have arrived, and can settle into your practice. So just slow, steady breaths here. We'll be focusing on a couple of things in our yoga practice today. One of them will be our hamstrings, just some stretching and some lengthening in our legs. And that's why we're using the yoga strap today. And I thought we also put in a balancing pose. So just continue to breathe in and out. Just slow, steady breaths. Maybe even starting to feel your body relax. Maybe your mind is relaxing. Very nice. Just continue to tune in, taking slow, steady breaths here. And in a moment, we'll add a little movement to this breath. But first, let's just bring a little bit more energy to the breath. And all you have to do is actually breathe a little slower. So as you inhale, you just might feel the breath rising upward. Fill up your lungs. And then exhale. Again, as you breathe in, you might feel yourself sitting up a little taller as your breath rises to fill up your lungs. And then our exhale. Let's do that again. So another nice full breath in, nice and slow and deep. Feel that nice expansion in your lungs. And then your exhale, and this time as you're able, perhaps drawing your navel inward towards your spine. It's just a light contraction of the abdominal muscles as a way to feel well supported in your lower region of the torso, engaging your core muscles. Maybe a couple more breaths just like that on your own, and then we'll add our movement. This movement's very simple and easy. I call this a moving meditation. So whenever you're ready, you'll inhale and extend your arms out across the room. Reach up into the air. That's it. Feel tall, well extended, reaching high. Then begin your exhale and extend your arms out and let them float back down by your side. Now you're moving with your own breath pace. So this might be slow movements, just as your breath is slow. Again, whenever you're ready to start, inhale, reaching out. And there's some good effort. A nice extension, reaching outward, then reaching upward to touch the ceiling. Then your exhale, extending the arms outward, energy in your hands and fingertips. And just continue. Just move at your own breath pace, following your own breath. Reaching high, just feel the extension of your arms. You might even feel a lengthening or a stretch quality through the sides of your body. And of course, movement through the shoulders. And as you exhale, let's continue to engage that core centering. Draw your navel inward towards your spine. That nice supported feeling in the body. Our moving meditation. Just bringing a little bit more awareness to the body in this very moment. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Taking your time, certainly no rush. And again, just a reminder that we like to take our time in this practice. Very good. Just moving with breath. Whenever you feel complete, just let your arms rest by your side. You can just let your hands rest in your lap if you'd like. Feel your shoulders relax. Take a breath. Just stay right where you are. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see this perspective. From here, just going to take your hands behind you. You might lean back into your palms or fingertips. And as the arms are behind you, allow the shoulders to come back. So there might be some effort of pulling the shoulders back gently. And then we'll tip the chin up a little bit. We just want to create a little bit more space in the upper chest. And we're also creating a mild back bend. So now we're going to inhale, just push into the ground with the hand or fingertips. Feel your breath rise to fill up your lungs. Exhaling here, drawing navel inward towards spine. Let's keep that core engagement. Inhale again, whenever you're ready, filling up your lungs, that nice expansive feeling up top. On this exhale, you'll continue to draw navel inward towards spine and perhaps squeezing shoulder blades together behind you, or continue to draw shoulders back behind you to engage your upper back muscles. So once again, just continuing to add a little bit more sensation to the body. Very engaging, very strong. With this engagement, it continues to keep us very focused, very aware of being in the moment, being present. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths. And after your second breath, just lower your chin. Walk your hands towards yourself. We'll re-extend the spine by re-extending the arms straight up into the air. Inhale to reach high. A little extra pause here at the top so you can feel the torso rising. Then exhale, extend the arms out and let them come back down by your side. And once again, just come back to relaxation. Take a breath. All right, if your legs are crossed here, go ahead and uncross the legs. We're going to reposition the legs so that we have the soles of the feet touching here, just going into a seated cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. It starts to open up the inner thighs. And here, if you need a little extra support underneath the knees, this is where you can use your blocks or books or even a couple of pillows right here. It just allows the legs just to literally rest. So they're resting on something. It doesn't feel like they're just hanging there in space. So you can do that if you'd like. And then holding on to your toes or the feet, ankles, or even your shins. Just want to be at a place where you can easily sit up tall as we begin this flow. So here we'll inhale, once again, growing tall. Feel the breath fill up your lungs. Expansiveness in the chest. Exhale, engage belly. With that sensation, start to hinge forward from the hips, leading with your heart and your chin just a tiny bit. And if you can see me, I haven't moved very far at all, just a little bit, because we want to maintain the straight line we've created in the spine. Stay here. You'll inhale, continue lengthening through the upper body. Exhale, engage your center. then hinge forward a little bit more. Again, small movements, we're taking our time, not forcing or pushing. And when we do this, that means we can certainly take our time to get into this pose without feeling like we're harming the body at all, because each slow, gradual motion is very easy on the body. It allows for the body parts that are experiencing this, in this case, perhaps the inner thighs, to get used to the sensation. And then you can continue to go a little further and deeper as you'd like. Now, you don't have to go too far at all. Maybe you've come down maybe a quarter of the way, and maybe that's as far as you'd like to go. You're feeling a nice inner thigh stretch, and that's all you really need here. Continue breathing. And of course, if you are going a little lower, you might even lower your chin, just let your head relax. Your back might round a little bit. You might feel a little bit heavy, a heaviness in the upper body as it folds forward. And just notice these new sensations, perhaps in the back of your neck, if your chin is kind of tucked in. The curvature in the spine adds a new sensation all down through the back. Wherever you are, let's just take 3 more breaths. And then when we're ready to move out of the pose, let's start by lifting the head to look forward. That will help that re-extension of your spine. You might even use your hands on your mat to help press and support your body, lifting, coming back up until you're nice and tall in your seat, coming back to where you began, and just hold here for a moment. All right, let's transition slowly. If you're using props, let's set those to the side. We're just going to swing the legs around back behind us. We're just basically coming to hands and knees. And you may want to use some cushioning here. So this might be the opportunity to use your blanket. I've got my blanket. I'm just going to unfold it so I can rest my knees and my hands or wrists on the blanket, so I have some softness and more support just to protect the wrists, protect the joints here. And so we're just going to move into cat and cow pose. Just a nice flowing sensation. Whenever you're ready, you're going to inhale, lift head and heart, a little arching of the back, just a tiny bit. Exhale, we'll round it all out. And these are just very gentle movements. Let me break it down. We're going to inhale, just lift the head, look forward, let the chest expand and open. Your back will arch like a back bend. Your pelvis tips back, and that's our back bend. That's cow pose. Exhale, we'll round it all out. Tuck the tailbone underneath. Belly button will pull up towards spine. Your back will round. Chin tucks in towards chest. That's cat. Inhale, reverse it. Tip the pelvis back. Let the belly drop. Heart opens. Look forward. Exhale, round it all out. Now, you'll do this several times. And each time, maybe you're creating a little bit more space throughout the spinal column, which may allow you to take each pose a little further. Maybe a bit more of this rounded sensation in cat, or even a little bit more of a back bend. And this also is focusing on the pelvis, rocking forward and back, so there's some release happening there too. When you move into your cat pose, that rounded body feeling, the belly button pulling up towards spine, it's a nice engaging sensation. It works your core, it strengthens the core muscles. So you might even pause there if you'd like. Let's continue this gentle flow. We'll take 3 more breaths. Take your time, and when you feel complete, just come back to a neutral tabletop posture. Come to stillness. You might take a breath here. And if you are using some padding for your hands and knees, let's crawl off the blanket and just set it to the side. We'll come back to hands and knees and get set up for our next pose, which is downward facing dog. So you'll step your hands forward
a little bit here. So your hands are out from underneath the shoulders. Spread out your fingers here so you can feel a stretch between each finger. That's it. Press your palms into the mat. Just kind of lean or put a little extra effort of pressing the palms into the ground to flatten the palms, to stretch the palms, and feel the energy and strength and length in the arms. Keep that energy as you now tuck your toes. Inhale, look forward, arch your back a little bit. I call this mini cow. Then exhale, round it out to a mini cat pose. Hold cat pose, pulling belly button up towards spine. Then lift your knees off the mat, lift your hips up into the air. And this should take you right away to downward facing dog. Maybe a little adjustment of hands and feet, holding for just one more second. And then look at the space between your hands and take a walk up into that space. Take your time, or at least until your feet feel flat on the mat. They don't have to make it all the way up to the hands at all. You'll be in a deep forward fold right here. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs, only rising up halfway to extend your spine. We're going to exhale and fold. And now this could be a partial fold, meaning you don't have to go all the way down. Maybe you just want to rest with your hands on your shins. You might even bring in your stacked blocks or books, something like this, where you just kind of lean into them. This gives you a nice stable posture as you're folding, so you don't feel too heavy in your own body. Or if you want to create that heaviness, you can create what's called this ragdoll and just kind of hang heavily forward, let gravity pull you down. If you like this, you can even hold on to opposite elbows and just let the weight of the body draw you down. Here, maybe you're even releasing your head, your neck, your shoulders. And if it feels all right, just keep adding little pieces here, a little sway left and right with the whole upper body. Maybe a little bit more release in the low back. And of course, there's still a slight bend in the knees. You might even feel a stretch in the hamstrings. All right, let's release the elbows. We're going to inhale, slide the hands back up to the knees or thighs, extending spine. Hold here, so you're like a tabletop, so your torso is parallel to the ground. Hold here. You're going to lean back, shifting your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees like you're sitting down. Take your arms out to the side. I'll call that spreading your wings. Stand up very tall. Reach up into the air. Nice and tall. Keep extending upward. Then exhale. Let's bring the arms down by your side. Let's hold here for a moment. Just go ahead and turn your palms forward. That just creates a nice natural opening in the shoulders, gives us nice posturing up top. And we'll hold here. So this is our first standing position. Let's take a moment in standing. And as you're standing, just notice the ground underneath you, the texture of your mat underneath your feet, an even distribution of weight between each foot. So really balancing on 2 feet. Let's just go through a half salute right here. So we'll inhale, sweep the arms out, up, reach up high with good effort. Exhale, spread your wings again, bend your knees and sit back like you're sitting back and down into an imaginary chair. Coming down, let the hands naturally drop. Your head will probably drop. Again, gravity is starting to take over, maybe touching the ground. Inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, re-extending the spine so you're parallel to the ground. Very good. Exhale, back down to your forward fold. That can be that ragdoll feeling or just coming partially down. From here, we'll immediately lean back into the heels, weights in the heels, bend your knees, feel like you're sitting down, look forward to help extend spine, spread your wings again, then stand up, reach up high into the sky, another big stretch. Exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. That's our half salute. We'll finish in mountain pose, palms facing forward. Very nice. Hold there for a moment. Make sure your neck is nice and long. You're looking directly forward. Feet firmly connected to the ground, balanced on 2 feet. 2 more breaths here.
Let's continue with the full salute. I'll guide you through. We'll inhale, reach into the air. Feel like you're going to touch the ceiling. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into your imaginary chair. When you move in slow motion, you're really using good muscle work here, really controlling and strengthening those muscles. Inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, extending spine. Halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees enough, carefully rounding the back. So you can bring your palms down to the ground and start stepping the feet back until you're in a high push-up position or plank pose. We'll hold here for several breaths. This is another great strength building posture, especially in the upper body. We'll breathe in. And then you exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. And here's our return to downward facing dog. Let's hold here for a few more breaths. While you're doing so, you might want to adjust your feet on your mat, even your hands on your mat if you'd like. Take a moment to pedal the feet. I call this walk the dog. You'll press one heel down to feel the stretch in the calf muscle, then alternate, exhaling, pressing the other heel down. As one heel presses downward, the other heel lifts, so you might feel a stretch in the toes, then the calf, and alternating. Notice other parts of the body. Knees might be bending as you're walking the dog. Your hips might even be shifting side to side. So some lengthening through the lower half of the legs. Do that one more time on each foot. Then come back to stillness and down dog, and we'll continue. Inhale, extend your right leg up behind you. Reach back and long. Exhale, bend your right knee. Bring it in underneath you towards your chest. Shift your upper body forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. And then just set the toes on the ground. Wherever they are, that's where they are. You're going to set your left knee onto the ground. That way you can reach back with your right hand. Go pick up the right foot and just bring it up to the top of the mat or next to the right hand. Once you've got it in place, relift the left knee. Weight is probably forward like mine is at the moment. There's a lot of pressure in my hands and wrists. So I need to pull my hips back towards the back edge of my mat. That's going to take the weight off the hand so I can literally rise up to my fingertips. So if you can see me, I'm like this. There's no weight on my hands because I've shifted my body so I'm more centered. From here, you want to bring one hand, then two hands up to your thigh. Press into the thigh muscle to lift yourself up to about 45 degrees right here. That should give us a nice extension through the spine. We're going to anchor the back leg, meaning you're going to press the heel towards the floor. It's another calf muscle activation. You might even feel that in your hamstring a little bit. Squeeze your inner thighs in towards each other like you're holding on to a block between the knees. Sweep your arms out to the side. Rise up, reach up until we're perpendicular to the ground, reach high, and then bend both knees a little so you're lunging a little lower. Pause there for a moment. This takes some balance. This is also a nice hip flexor stretch in that left leg. And we're going to inhale, lift a little, pivot left heel to the floor so we can turn sideways, coming into warrior two. Arms come down to parallel. Make sure your right knee is pointing directly forward out over the toes, or pointing in the same direction as your toes. Then our side angle pose. You're going to reach out to angle the upper half of the body. So reach out with the right arm, rotate the body, bring the right arm down while the left arm reaches into the air. Good. So you create a nice opening through the whole chest, inner thighs, your hips get a nice opening here as well. Few more breaths. Let's breathe in. We're going to exhale and carefully turn the torso towards the ground. Fold so you can bring your palms back down to the ground. Relift that left heel behind you. So we're in this runner's lunge. So your heel is lifted. Press your hands strongly into the ground, strong arms. Even feel your hips lift, even a tiny bit. We're just getting the weight away from the right foot so we can slide back into plank pose. Hold for a second for strength. Exhale, bend your knees, lift your hips into the air, downward facing dog. Good, hold there for a moment. We'll get ready to do the other side.
When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up into the air behind you, reaching back straight and strong. Exhale, bend your left knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting your body weight forward until your knee is coming in towards chest. Now your shoulders are over your wrists. Hold for a second, and then just set your toes down. Left foot down. Set your right knee down. Let's go get that left foot, place it up at the top of the mat. Relift the right knee. Start pulling the hips back. Less weight in the fingers, so you can rise up to fingertips. You've already started that re-extension of spine. Bring the hands up to your thigh, just to help leverage yourself to lift to about 45 degrees. Nice angled body here. Long torso, anchoring with that right heel, pressing back. Feel that in your calf muscle. Squeeze the legs in towards each other. Now we're a little bit more stable down below. Let's take the arms out, rise up, reach up. Inhale to rise. Exhale, bend the knees a little to lunge a little deeper. Let's hold here for maybe 2 more breaths so you can feel the posturing, this balance. Hip flexor stretch. We're going to inhale, lift out of that lunge, pivot or turn right heel to the ground, turn sideways. Your torso turns to the side as your arms come down to parallel. Make sure the left knee is still bent and the knee is pointing directly forward. Same direction as your toes and your fingertips. Follow the left arm forward to angle the upper half of the body. We're going into our side angle pose. Left arm comes down. Right arm reaching up into the air. Let's hold for several breaths. Nice expansion here in the chest. Good energy in this extended right arm up into the air. Let's breathe in, and our exhale will turn, carefully fold, bring the palms to the ground, relift that right heel behind you. Press palms firmly into the ground. Lift the hips if you can slightly. Less weight in the left foot so it slides back or step it back into plank. Let's hold. Hold a second longer. Then exhale. Let's bring the knees down to the ground, both knees. Sit back briefly in hero. And then sit down. Just slide off to the side. Swing the legs around to the front. Alrighty, so we're going to get ready for a forward fold. And this is where we can use the strap. So if you're using a strap, you can have that handy and ready to go. Just have it next to you right here. We're going to start in staff pose. So that's just sitting up tall, both legs straight out front. Flex the feet just to activate the legs. And if you're able, straight as can be with the legs here. If you do need to put a slight bend in the knees, then put a bend in the knees. We also want to feel lifted in the torso. As I sit freely like this, I can feel compressed in my spine. I don't feel like I can easily lift myself up. So I give myself an assist, so maybe placing your hands on the ground next to your hips and just push into the ground to help lift the torso. And if the shoulders happen to be tipped forward, we just roll them back and squeeze the shoulder blades together. And there's your upper back engagement. So this is staff pose. So it's fully engaged. Legs are straight, flexed feet, hands pressing into the ground, lifted torso, shoulders rolled back. We're inhaling to feel the length in the legs and torso. We're exhaling to pull belly in and squeezing shoulder blades together. So feel all that activation. Couple more breaths here. Again, staff pose. Just keeping the body quite active, even in a pretty neutral position. All right, go ahead and relax. And we're going to bend the left knee and bring this left foot to the inside of the right leg, perhaps up to inner thigh if you're able. There you go. And if you need to, just adjust your seat so you still feel pretty solid on the ground. We're going to take a fold, but you can use your strap for this. Just an option, really, but it really does come in handy. So you want to catch the bottom of the foot with your strap. And that same idea of sitting up tall, we just hold onto the strap, give it a little tug so we can sit up nice and tall. So the pose we're heading towards is called Janu Shirshasana, or head to knee pose. Basically, we're folding, bringing the head downward towards this right leg. So go ahead and inhale, tug on the strap to feel very tall in the spine. Exhale, pull belly in, tug strap again, but then send your heart forward.
a little bit. Again, pause without going too far. Keeping the spine straight as can be. Notice the new sensations already arising in your body. Inhale, more lift and length through the torso at this new angle. Exhale, pull belly in, a little tug of the strap, and maybe going a little further. Take this incrementally, small movements. And then when you're pausing, just check in with your body. Where do you feel this? I certainly feel this in my hamstrings. I'm getting a hip opener. I'm feeling a little bit of a stretch in my low back. And again, you can just hold on to the strap. It's a nice way to kind of feel secure here. But if you like to, you can always release the strap if you're using it. Maybe your hands can just rest on your shin. Maybe you can reach your toes, or even just placing the hands on the ground, which is another way to kind of support your body. I'm going to go a little further, not too much. I'm going to inhale, get a little bit more lengthening through the spine. Exhale, pull belly in, which provides a little bit more space in the waistline, and then fold a little further. You can even let the back round. This is where the head might come a little closer down towards the knee. Okay, check in with your body. Hamstring stretch in the right leg. The hip release in the left side. And if you're down low with the curvature in the spine, maybe a stretch along the whole entire back. Let's hold a little bit longer. Really getting a nice stretch sensation in this right leg. Let's take 3 more breaths. After your 3rd breath, let's just check in. Notice where you are. You might want to release the strap, hands on the floor here. Look forward if your head is low. Just look out past your toes. And maybe use your hands to help press, to help lift yourself back up until you're nice and tall in your seat again. Hold here for a moment. We're going to transition to a different pose now. You're going to bring this left knee up like this. Maybe hands on the ground behind you so you can lean back. Let's bend the right knee. So we're going to end up like this. So knees bent, feet flexed, heels on the ground. Keep the hands behind you. You can alternate, or you can adjust how your hands are on the ground. Push into the ground with your hands to feel that lifting chest sensation. You can lift the chin a little bit. Fill up the lungs. And exhale, pull belly in. So this is one variation of boat pose, which I like to do in this class. It really engages the core, but it just takes some of the balancing aspect out of the traditional posture. 2 more breaths. Really engage your core by pulling belly button in towards spine. All right, from here, go ahead and re-extend the legs. Step your hands in a little closer, again to the hips. So we're going back to our staff pose. So pressing palms into the ground, re-extending spine. You're creating a nice L shape in the body. Flexed feet, palms pressing, shoulders back, engaging upper back and belly. Just a couple breaths. After the 2nd breath, just soften the body. Let's get ready for the other side. So you're going to bend the right knee now, bring the right foot to the inner left leg, adjusting your seat as you need to. And I did mention, let me switch sides quickly so you can just see this. Just let's say this knee doesn't touch the ground, because it doesn't have to. This is where you might want to bring that stack of blocks back in, or books, or a pillow, so the leg, again, can just rest over there, especially if it doesn't go all the way down to the ground for this posture, okay? So we have the right foot on the inner left thigh, left leg straight out in front. Let's get that strap. If you're using it, wrapped around the bottom of the foot, a little tug of the strap so we can re-extend the spine. So we're nice and tall, ready to go. Inhale, grow even taller. Exhale, pull belly in, a little tug of the strap, sending the heart outward towards the toes. And that's really the dynamic of this posture. Rather than just dropping your head down towards your knee, of course, it is called head to knee pose, But I really like to think of this as heart to toes pose. Heart to your toes pose. So you're sending your heart forward out past your foot. That way the spine can stay pretty well extended. Finding that space that feels just right for both legs, the nice hamstring stretch, the right inner thigh and hip, and maybe even your back. Maintain a hold of the strap or release the strap. Maybe you're resting your hands on your shin, reaching out toward your toes or holding onto the toes or on the ground for a little bit more stability. Again, if you need to put a bend in the left knee, please do so. Feel free to lower your head. Let the back round, all perfectly fine. We'll hold a little bit longer. Deeper breaths if you're able. There's really no need to go any deeper into the pose. You can stay exactly where you are. Just deepen the breath, or just take slower breaths, slower breaths. Let's take 3 more breaths here in this head to knee pose. To come out of the posture, we'll start by lifting the head, looking forward. If you're holding onto the strap still, go ahead and release it. Place the palms on the ground. Then use your hands to actually press into the ground to help lift yourself back up. Again, nice and tall in the seat. Pause there for a moment. And let's go back to that boat pose. So we'll bring that right knee in and up. Hands behind you for support. Lean back. Let's bend the left knee. Flexing the feet, heels on the ground. Press into the ground with the hands to help lift and open the chest, tip the chin up a little bit. So we are at an angle. So the upper body is at an angle, like leaning back, and you're just resting on your palms here. Elbows can be bent, that's fine. Inhale, more breath into the lungs. Feel tall and lifted in your long torso. Exhale, pull belly in, nice engagement in your center. 3 more breaths. Then we'll relax. Maybe just crossing the legs. Let's move our strap out of the way. And then we'll swing the legs back behind us. Let's return to hands and knees. Just briefly here. Step your hands forward, spreading out your fingers, pressing the open palms into the mat strongly to feel the length and strength in the arms. Tuck your toes with an exhale. Let's move right away to downward facing dog. Just lifting your hips, adjusting feet, adjusting hands. Settle in. I'm going to go through another lunging sequence. Starting here, inhale, extending right leg up behind you. Exhale, bend the right knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting body weight forward, shoulders over wrists, setting the toes down. Maybe the foot reaches the hand. If not, still just set the left knee onto the ground, pick up right foot, place it up a little higher, then re-lift the left knee. We're all in the same spot. Shifting the weight back away from the hands so the hands are light. Rise up to fingertips, extending spine. Hands up onto the thigh. Leverage your way up to our 45-degree angled body with a straight spine. Anchor the heel, push back, hold, squeeze inner thighs together. Take the arms out and up, reach up. Bend the knees, lunge. Hold for a second. We're going to inhale, lift out of that lunge, pivot or turn left heel to the floor, turn sideways. Arms come down to parallel, so we're in warrior 2. Now, here, your feet are probably far apart. So we're going to actually step the feet in a little closer together and then straighten the right leg. So both legs are as straight as can be, okay? So we're moving into triangle pose. Arms are extended out to the side, just like warrior 2. Then reach out past the right thigh, angled upper body. Remember the right leg as straight as can be. Right hand down, left hand up. So it's almost like side angle pose. We did that earlier with the knee bent. Now the leg is straight, so we can continue this hamstring work. 3 more breaths. To come out of this pose, let's start by bending the right knee for a nice lunge. Come back up to a warrior 2. Turn the right palm towards the ceiling and then reach for the ceiling with this right hand. Nice extension. We're not going to be here too long. It's just for a right side body stretch. And we're in a windmill. Bring this left hand up and over, turning to bring the hands down to the mat. Now listen carefully. You can even watch me. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Stay here. Because we're going to step forward. You're going to bring the left foot up to the top of the mat. So maybe a little bend of the knee, left knee, so you can give yourself a little push to step forward. So now we're in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Lean back into the heels, bend your knees, let the hips drop, look forward, arms out to the side. Rise up nice and tall, reach into the air. Exhale, bring your hands together and down to your heart this time. Now from here, we're going to move right into tree pose. So this is our balancing posture. So you're going to start by shifting your weight into your right foot. So that was the working leg in the other postures. So right foot rooted into the ground. I'm just going to turn to you. I'm going to mirror you. Okay, feel nice and tall up through the spine. Exhale, draw belly in. And once you've got that, go ahead and float the left foot up. Bending the knee, flexed foot, good. We'll swing the knee out to the side, and then maybe placing this foot on the inside of the standing leg. Now on the floor, when we were seated kind of like this, the foot was on the inner thigh perhaps, but you can also bring it down lower. My foot now is at my calf, but if you're losing your balance and need a little extra stability, just bring your toes to the ground. Then from here, one last thing, we'll inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Reach, little extra lift, nice and long through the torso. Core connected, navel to spine, good, nice hip opener. Keep the arms extended. Swing or turn the knee forward, left knee forward. Lifting the knee with the flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground. Keep the arms in the air. Inhale right there, then exhale, let's swan dive, bend the knees. Sit back into your imaginary chair. Hands come down, maybe touch toes or your shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Long extension of spine. Exhale, bend your knees enough. Let the back round carefully. Place your palms on the ground. We'll walk both feet back into plank pose. Pause there for strength. Inhale for more length. Exhale, bend your knees, lift hips into the air. Our return to downward facing dog. So that's our sequence. Let's do the other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, reach. Exhale, bend your left knee now, bring it in underneath you towards your chest, shifting your body weight forward, your shoulders are over wrists. Maybe foot reaches the left hand or set the toes on the ground, anywhere. Right knee touches ground. Go get that left foot, bring it up higher for your lunge. Relift the right knee. Shift the body weight back. No weight in the fingertips. Fully extended spine. Rise up. Use your hands on your thigh to help lift yourself up. Just assist your own body. Nice extension here at this angle. Anchor the right heel. Squeeze to inner thighs. Sweep arms out and up. Perpendicular to the ground. Reach into the sky. Exhale, lunge. Bending both knees. Just pause. We'll inhale, lift. Turn right heel to the ground, opening up sideways, arms to parallel. Pause in warrior 2 just to arrive in this posture. Now again, if the feet are far apart from each other, you can bring them a little closer together. Then straighten both legs. We're preparing for our triangle pose, so the legs are straight here. Then start reaching out past the left thigh, angled upper body. So as you reach forward with the left hand, it feels like your right hip is pushing or moving to the back wall. Rotate your arms. Left hand comes down maybe to the knee or thigh or maybe your shin while your right hand extends into the air. Spend some moments here, breathing into the entire body, noticing the nice extension in the left hamstring now. Two more breaths. When you're ready to move, coming out, we'll bend the left knee first, lunging. Come back up to a warrior two, then reverse the warrior. Just spin the left hand up and reach up into the air. You might feel this as a nice stretch through the left side of your body. Now we're going to windmill. Bring both hands up and over, hands down to the floor in front by the left foot. Spin up onto the toes behind you. Remember, we're stepping forward. It's a little push from behind to step forward until we're in forward fold. Let's take our spinal extension. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs. Flat back, exhale, rounding once again carefully. Lean back into your heels. Bend your knees, let the hips drop, look forward. Sweep your arms out, rising up, reach into the sky. Exhale, palms together and down to your heart. Finding balance on 2 feet, but getting ready to balance on 1 foot. So shifting weight into the left foot, let it ground into the mat. Feel tall and lengthened through the spine. Core engagement with your exhale. Let's float the right foot up, bending the knee. Flex the foot to keep it active. Swing the knee out to the side. Placing foot somewhere along the inside of the standing leg. Remember, you can use the ground if you need a little bit more stability. No worries, it's all perfect. So we've kind of created the same leg posturing as that seated forward fold we did, that Janu Shirshasana. Let's go ahead and inhale to take the arms up into the air. Get nice and tall, reaching, extending. Feel as if you will touch the sky. A couple more breaths. Let's keep the arms extended. Let's swing the right knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Then place the foot back down onto the ground. Let's keep the arms extended, breathing in, reaching higher. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into the imaginary chair. We're folding slowly and carefully. Going back to our forward fold. We'll inhale to rise up just halfway, sliding the hands up the legs, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the ground. Walking both of your feet back. Returning to plank. We'll hold in plank for a moment. This is the last pose. Then we'll bring the knees to the ground. Sit back briefly in hero. And then off to the side, sitting onto the ground. All right. So that's our hamstring and balancing work. So that completes most of our moving practice. Let's come to our closing sequence. So we're going to lie down. So be sure your props that you want to use are nearby. Maybe a blanket, your blocks, your bolster, just have them nearby. Sit in the center of your mat so you can go ahead and roll down onto your back. We're going to start in a bridge pose. So once you're down on the ground on your back, go ahead and bend your knees, your feet pressed into the ground, arms down by your side perhaps. Now we're moving into bridge, but this could be a supported bridge pose, which means you can bring in some blocks or a big pillow to sit on. So we're going to breathe in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, empty your belly. You can even blow the air out of your mouth. Pressing feet into the ground to lift your hips up into the air. And if you'd like, slide those props underneath you to sit on. Maybe that big pillow or bolster or folded blanket or your stacked blocks. So this is our supported bridge pose. Let's just hold here for a moment. Very relaxing position because there's less engagement compared to the regular bridge pose, but it still opens up the body, opens the front side of the body in a really nice way. And while you're just holding in stillness, just continue to notice your breath. Stay here a little bit longer. Our next posture, and there's certainly no rush to get into this next posture,
We're just going to extend the legs straight up into the air. This is our version of an inverted posture. So whenever you're ready, you just extend the legs up. So if you're still on those blocks or something that's lifting you up, you can stay on those props and extend the legs. Or if it feels a little bit better on your back and hips, maybe to remove those props first, lie flat on your back, and then extend the legs. You can do that. And it takes some effort, of course, to hold the legs in the air so you can feel them automatically engage. Then after a few more seconds, since your feet are free, go ahead and just move the feet around. Flex the feet, point your toes, maybe make circles with the ankles. And if you can, maybe wiggle your toes a little. Just to provide some motion, some mobility in the feet and ankles. When you think about balancing like in tree pose, I mean, just all those supporting muscles, small muscle groupings in the feet and ankle area. And if you'd like, maybe a little bicycle pedaling, so get those joints moving a little bit in the knees, ankles, and hips. Or any other movement you want to create right here. Maybe some more stretching through the legs, either straight up, even out to the side, getting the inner leg stretch. And if you're able, if you can bring the legs up and cross the legs a little bit, you might even get a little stretch in the outer portion of the legs. You can even cross the legs, wrapping them up. If you're familiar with eagle pose, you can create that eagle leg posturing if you want. And maybe just 3 more breaths here. After your 3rd breath, if your legs are still in the air, let's go ahead and bend the knees so you can bring the feet back down to the ground. Push feet into the ground to lift your hips, to remove the blocks if they're underneath you. Come all the way down to the ground. Let's go into a reclining cobbler's pose. So the knees are still bent, but maybe bring the legs closer together, but then let the knees drop open to either side of the mat. Soles of the feet touch. Now we did this seated, so this is just the lying down version. And again, if you're needing a little support for those knees that are just out to the side, again, just tuck something underneath them. This is a nice version of this hip opener, this reclining cobbler's pose, or reclining bound angle pose. It just has a nice relaxing quality to it. From here, our next movement will be a twist. Again, no rush to get into this next posture. But when you're ready to move, you can bring the knees together. Maybe give yourself a hug. Let's start the twist by taking the knees over to the left side, down towards the ground, or place a block underneath that left leg to support it if you don't want to twist too far. Then as you're able to extend your right arm off to the right side, this creates that twist. This certainly does affect the spine, but also notice the low back and hip area. And just for a little added piece, this is just an option since we were focused on hamstrings. Stay in the twist. Your knees are probably bent, but maybe extend the right leg. Just kind of kick it out to the side. So the right leg kicking off to the left side. Maybe a flexed foot, so you're kind of pushing through the heel. Again, just an option. You can bend the knee. One more breath in and out. Then our slow return to center. Just pause and center so everything can come back to neutral. And then take your twist to the other side. Use props as needed to help support your body. So knees to the right, left arm extending to the left. With the bent knees, they can stay just like that. Or even extending that top leg. It's your left leg, extending it. Just kind of kicking it off to the, there you go, off to the side. It puts a little bit more effort in that top leg. So just notice what happens there in that engaging feeling. It's stretching the hamstring. Maybe it's getting a little bit more in the hip, creating more of that twist. If you need to soften that, just bend the knee again. Take 2 more breaths. And again, when you feel complete, let's slowly return to center. And just hold here for a moment and just decide from here where you would like to go next. It could be a few more movements, but if you're ready for Shavasana, go ahead and take Shavasana by extending your legs out front, arms down by your side. Or you choose any other restorative position, meaning use any of your props to help support your body in any lying down or even seated posture. Lying down could be lying on your back. Lying down could even be on your side. Even elevate your legs or elevate your upper body. Whatever you need to do here. Let everything relax. Legs, feet, hips, back, neck, shoulders. Stay exactly where you are. Just continue to be in stillness, relax, and notice your breath. Once again, return to the awareness of your breath. This time, taking 5 slow, deep breaths. Preparing now your body to move. Feeling the breath move through your body to create movement within your body. And as you feel movement return, take your time. Move as slowly as you can. Roll onto either side of your body, just moving into a nurturing pose for a moment.
And once you've made it over to your side, use your hands, use the breath to help guide your way up to a seated posture. That's it, just taking it very slowly, no rush to move. And once you've come to your seated position, just feel the re-extension of your spine, the flow of your breath. Let's add one more movement and inhale to extend your arms out, reaching up. As you exhale, bring your palms together and now down to your heart. Return to stillness. Take one more breath on your own. And as we complete our practice together, we bow, saying Namaste.